Welcome back, everyone. My name is Michelle, and this is Horror Book Hell Hound. What's up, everybody? Today we are basically doing a reading recap of everything that I read for the month of January. I do apologize if the rain noise is a little ridiculous right now. I live in an RV, and when it rains, it's pretty loud, okay? So just bear with me. Honestly, audiobooks saved my ass this past month because I just was not feeling the reading bug. You guys know what I mean by the reading bug. Like that urge, that itching, that tingling feeling that you get when you just feel the need to sit down and read. Most of the month I didn't feel that way, and I think a lot of it was because the book that I started out with, or that I ultimately finished first in January, was this fucker. A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I believe I started reading this book actually in December of last year, but as you can tell, it's kind of a chunk. So I finished it. I was about halfway through, I feel, when the new year began. So I finished this book first in January. This book... As you will hear me rant and rave about any of Sarah J. Maas's books, and I've only read the ACOTAR series so far, and I have currently gotten through the first 3. This is the second one. This book caused me so much emotional turmoil. I literally wept at the end of this book like a child. And it was very cathartic. I'm not even gonna lie. I enjoyed it just for that, just for the simple catharsis that this book and this series like allows the readers. Fallen head over heels in love with all of the characters. I had nothing but getting started on the 3rd book on my mind. Now, with that being said, I was very much wanting to read other books, like read other physical books that I have. As you guys know, if you've watched my other videos, I have a cabinet in the back of my RV that is full of books I own that have probably been sitting on my shelves for over a year and I haven't read them. So yeah, the intention was to take a break from the ACOTAR series and get some horror novels read, because honestly that's my main jam. I usually prefer reading horror to anything else. But, as you can see, that didn't exactly happen. So yes, audiobooks were kind of like my salvation this past month. After finishing A Court of Mist and Fury, I kind of got into a reading slump. I picked up a few books. One I am currently reading now, and it will probably be on February's TBR video, which will be the next video coming up, hopefully next Tuesday, fingers crossed. But yeah, I was just kind of in a deep, dark reading slump throughout the main chunk of this month. I did pick up and start A Court of Wings and Ruin, but I only got like maybe just the very beginning into the story before I just had to put it down and take a little bit of a break. So, with that being said, let's talk about the audiobooks that I listened to this month. So for starters, we have, and I'm looking down at my list, so bear with me, I Know What I Saw, Modern Day Encounters with Monsters of New Urban Legend and Ancient Lore by Linda S. Godfrey. I really enjoyed listening to this book. I think that if I had tried to read this book in a physical copy, I probably would have gotten a little bit bored with it. I wouldn't have been able to focus on it as much, but I do so much driving for my day job that it was really fun being able to listen to this book and all the different stories. Now, with that being said, this book does kind of hyperfixate on werewolf-like cryptids for the most part, but Linda S. Godfrey has a really wonderful way of breaking up those main stories that we're kind of focusing on with the cryptids that you and I know and love. I assume that if you're watching this channel, you are also somewhat obsessed with the supernatural and cryptozoology, maybe. If you're not, I still highly encourage this book. If maybe it's something that intrigues you that you just haven't really dive into, if that's even a word. I would recommend starting with some books by Linda S. Godfrey. She has quite a few about cryptids and monster sightings. So yeah, highly recommended that. To kind of backtrack, I obviously gave A Court of Mist and Fury 5 stars, which on Goodreads is the highest you can go. If I could give more stars, I would. For I Know What I Saw by Linda S. Godfrey, I gave 4 out of 5 stars. The only reason I gave a star less is just because it wasn't necessarily anything super new to me, but it was very fascinating, so I did really enjoy that. I probably would have rated it even less if I had to physically read it, because it wouldn't have been as entertaining. So the next 2 audiobooks that I listened to this month were actually more along the lines of self-help. The next one was You Are a Goddess, Working with the Sacred Feminine to Awaken, Heal, and Transform by Sophie Bashford. I fucking loved this audiobook. The narrator's voice, and I want to say it was actually narrated by the author, if I'm not mistaken, but her voice is so beautiful and relaxing, and just like, oh, I could listen to this woman literally read a grocery list and just be like enraptured by it. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. In my opinion, it has a very good combination of spirituality along with actual self-help. It does focus more on femininity and like specifically female healing and transforming, but I do believe that no matter what gender you belong to, or if you're non-binary, I do feel that you could get a lot out of this book. There are meditations included, and with the narrator's voice, the meditations are so good. Oh my god, they're so good. So if you have a hard time struggling with different meditations, then she has a lot of guided ones throughout each chapter, and each chapter focuses on a different goddess, a different aspect of the divine feminine. If that's really not your jam, or it sounds super boring to you, then by all means pass it up, but I fucking loved it. So 5 out of 5. And the next self-help book that I read was called The Mountain Is You, Transforming Self-Sabotage into Self-Mastery by Brianna Wiest, something like that. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars just because I almost wish it went a little bit further into self-sabotage, but at the same time I felt this book was a really great starting point for a lot of us who are on that healing journey, and a lot of us who have gotten really tired of our self-saboteur in our heads, kind of taking the reins on our lives and stuff like that. But I definitely gave it a 4 out of 5. I will be re-listening to this book probably several times. Books like this are ones that probably take several repetitions or read-throughs to finally like sink in and get you on the track that you need to be on, so to speak. But yeah, this month was apparently the month of self-help, spirituality, and emotional damage. But I only read 5 books this month. So we started with A Court of Mist and Fury. That was an easy 5 out of 5. The next 3 were the audiobooks that I already mentioned. And I finished out the month with A Court of Wings and Ruin. Holy fucking shit. So like I said, I started this book probably before I even started listening to any of the audiobooks that I mentioned, but I had to put it down for a little bit just because I was starting to get a little burnt out with the storyline. So I wanted to put it down. I listened to my audiobooks, I took a break from reading anything physical, and then I picked this book up with probably that much, we'll say 300 to 400 pages left of this book to read. And within the past 2 days, I have digested, consumed this book so quickly, and it was so good. And it was such a fucking ride, okay? Like, the second book definitely made me weep like a fucking child. It kind of ended on a cliffhanger. This book did not end so much on a cliffhanger, which was nice. But the entire second half of this book is nothing but ups and downs as far as emotional turmoil goes. And then right at the end, you have this final cataclysmic ending, and then just the fucking devastation, but then the joy, and then the devastation, and then the joy. Mindfuckery, okay? Mindfuckery, but it was so good. And honestly, it ended on a really good note. I was not mad about any of it. I am very excited because there are 2 more books to read in this series. I don't know if the series is continuing after that, but I am very excited to continue. So, honestly guys, today's video is just going to be really short with the rain and the cold and the misery and the simple fact that I didn't exactly read a whole lot of books last month. That's pretty much all I have for you guys today. So let me know what you think. I know that ACOTAR kind of took the cake this past month, but I am already starting some books for February that are more horror themed, and I am already very invested in at least one of them. So I will be sure to catch you guys up on what I'm planning on reading this month. And be sure to let me know what you guys read for the month of January down in the comments below. If you liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And other than that, I will see you all in the next video. Peace out, Hell Hounds.